Welcome to the Classic Stevo podcast, where every day is a golden moment in time. We talk about the news, artistic culture, training methods, nutrition, and more for classic bodybuilding, as well as updates on the fitness industry. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. The show is about to get on rolling. Well, Heyo Guys, welcome back to the Classic Stevo podcast show, where every day is a golden moment in time. So I was watching a recent YouTube video of Breon Ansley being interviewed on Generation Iron, talking about vacuum poses, and it was kind of the question on the table of whether they should be mandatory or not. Now, I know this has been kind of an ongoing topic for a while now, ever since Classic Physique has been in the game. When it started back in around 2016, I believe, there's been questions about whether or not vacuum poses should be mandatory in that division. And it's an interesting topic, guys, because I know, like, on my Instagram and stuff, I've shared a lot about vacuum poses and how great they can make a physique look. And it's not just the pose itself, but just the practice to increase the strength of your abdominals, your core, and all of that, which kind of reflects on your lifts and also helps prevent injuries from strengthening the core. But as far as the overall look, what we're focusing on is whether or not it should be mandatory for the Classic Physique Division. Now, I know Breon Ansley's response to this. If you watch this in recent YouTube videos of his, he was explaining how he strongly disagrees with that it should be mandatory, and how, like, for example, guys on stage that are naturally lean, it's not too hard to be able to suck the stomach in when you're naturally lean like that. I mean, I personally believe you still need a little bit of practice to be able to learn how to control the vacuum, but when you're on an ultra lean side, especially competition state ready kind of physique, it's a lot easier to perform vacuums. But do they necessarily make your physique look better? And I think that's where the fine line is developed. Just because someone can hit a vacuum pose, does it really make their physique better? And my personal answer to you guys, and in my humble opinion, is that no, it doesn't necessarily make your physique look better. I think it looks incredible with some people, and at the end of the day, I think it comes down to the way your body is structured. So some people will just naturally look better with vacuum poses. It just depends. Now, of course, the leaner you are, like I said, the easier it's going to be. So, but that's not necessarily a determinant of whether it should be required or not. So I believe personally, no, it shouldn't be either. I totally agree with Breon Ansley. I think they look incredible, but to make it a mandatory pose, I feel like is a bit of a stretch, because like I said, some competitors just look better without vacuum poses. Not to say that they suck at doing them. They may do them, like, they may be able to suck their stomach in and control that very well, but it doesn't necessarily always complement their physiques. Sometimes they look better with just showing their abs, because the thing is, when the downside to vacuum poses is when you suck your abdominals in, your stomach in, you lose generally a lot of that definition from showing off your abdominals when you do a front double bicep. So that's why some people just look better. And I mean, Breon Ansley is a very key guy to kind of explain and show that he, you rarely ever, I don't think I've ever really seen him hit a vacuum pose before, but he looks phenomenal just doing the front double bicep with just the abs showing without sucking the stomach in. So, I mean, it's just a per person basis, basically. Some people look better, others don't. Like, for example, Keon Pearson, the guy that I was talking about in the last podcast, he looks incredible with a vacuum, but, maybe Breon Ansley, on the other hand, he looks better without a vacuum. So it just goes hand in hand, and each person's different. So that's what I believe. I like doing vacuum poses, but I do think that sometimes, I also like doing without vacuums, just front double bicep, because it shows more definitions in the midsection region. So, there's just a trade-off and whatnot, but very interesting topic. But that's just my personal opinion. I think, I don't know, maybe some of you guys prefer vacuums, or maybe you think it should be mandatory. If you do, leave it in the comments below. I'd love to hear if you personally think that they should make it mandatory for that division. But anyway, guys, that was just a brief little topic I wanted to cover. before. This has kind of been an ongoing discussion, and I thought, it's a very interesting thing. And I still think even if you're not great or you don't look necessarily great at performing vacuums or like appearance as far as what your vacuum looks like, I think they're still good to train regardless of whether if you actually hit them on the stage or not. I think they're still good for practicing keeping that abdominals tight regardless, and it helps strengthen the core. So regardless of whether if you're actually doing them for appearance purposes or not, I still think they're great to train from time to time and staying consistent with them. In my opinion, I feel like doing vacuum exercises is by far one of the most superior ways to train the abdominals as well as the core strength in general. I actually prefer doing them over regular ab exercises. So that's just my outlook on it. But anyway, guys, leave a comment below. Let me know if you think it should be brought into the division mandatory, or do you think it should still be optional of whether if a competitor wants to do a vacuum or not do a vacuum on stage. I'd love to hear that. Awesome topic. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Please stay tuned into the next episode, and I hope you all have a golden day. Cheers. Thank you again for tuning in to the Classic Stevo podcast. Material is generally posted on a weekly basis, so please stay tuned in for the next release. Your support, guys, is greatly appreciated, truly. So feel free to share this podcast with others and spread the positivity with them. And always remember to have a golden day. Cheers, guys.